Welcome back. We made an attempt to review life insurance, life application, and the life underwriting in the first session. For those of you who are joining me first time, my name is Hasid Thanki. I am the creator and founder of presentation series called Intro to Individual Life Underwriting. We did try to scratch the surface, and bear with me. Keep in mind that this is the intro to individual life underwriting. We are not going into the deep water, we are just trying to get our feet wet. With that in mind, as I was saying in my prior session, that in this session we will be talking about financial underwriting. Let me do this. I will break down this financial underwriting into two aspects. One, simple, and that is what we will cover in this session. And in the following session, I will try to touch base on some of the complex financial underwriting. You may recall, for those of you who joined with me in my prior session, that there was a reference given by me about the life application. Life application is the critical document that eventually forms the life insurance contract, as we all know. So, as we do the life underwriting, we look at the life application and we screen the life application. We review each and every questions. We go from name, age, date of birth, sex, occupation, family history, so on and so forth. What are we looking at when it comes to financial underwriting? We look at the owner, we look at the payer, we look at the beneficiary. Now, one of the things you may want to ask yourself while doing the initial workup is to see that does owner and payer and does the beneficiary make sense? Are we looking at a stranger owning the policy that you are going to issue? Who is the payer? There are some companies out there that they have adverse mortality when it boils down to third party owner or payer. Likewise, look at the beneficiary and see, does it make sense? Who is the beneficiary? In insurance industry, in life underwriting, we call that insurable interest. What is the financial loss that the beneficiary would suffer in the event, God forbid, if insured dies? That's the logical approach and the thought process that you may want to develop as you do the initial workup. Now, bear in mind the company specifics, number one. Number two, beyond that, state exceptions. So there are going to be some state regulations where you cannot question the beneficiary. So different states will have different guidelines, and likewise in the industry there are thousands of companies, so follow your company specifics. That is one of the key aspects in financial underwriting. Then as you review the life application, you will see a question that refers to, are there any application pending besides this application that you are underwriting? Meaning the insurer may have applied outside anywhere else besides your company. Is there any in-force coverage? Is this going to be a replacement of prior policy? What will be the total line of ultimate coverage that this insurer will have once you put your approval stamp to this application that you are underwriting? So that is the aspect you want to look into. Sometimes what happens that there may be a replacement, and if so, look at the agent report and see what rate classification or the initial quote that the agent has given to the insured. He may have quoted healthy American, preferred plus, preferred elite, whatever terminology your company may be using. And you may see on the application that the insured has had a history of stroke or heart attack or diabetes, or as the case may be. So you may want to shoot out an email at the time of initial workup, and or pick up the phone and let the agent know that this is not going to be preferred elite or healthy American. We are looking at tentatively, so far, table 2, table 4, as the case may be, subject to all outstanding requirements, including medical records, financial underwriting, whatever documents you may need. So that you and our field partner, our broker or the agent, we are a team and we can be on the same page. That's very important, that's very critical. So in that aspect, proactive communication is a good tool, a good idea to have. Now in financial underwriting, as we review the entire life application, we look at the occupation. Occupation per se may have extra mortality, and I am not going to cover that in this session. That is outside the scope of this session, but something we will eventually cover in the sessions to follow. But look at the age, look at the annual income, and what are the company's specifics based on the age and based on the income. Does it make sense that the face amount insured is proposing? Is your company okay with that? So is there a financial justification? I cannot buy the life insurance to make myself worth more dead than alive. So ask these questions as you do your initial workup. Does it make sense? Now there are going to be times when you may feel that based on the age and income, or because of the total ultimate line of coverage, or replacement may or may not be the case, bottom line, you feel that there is a financial stretch. But you feel that, let's say the insured has applied for 5 million and you feel that you can go up to 4 million, for example, then you want to ask what is the specific need. Look at the application or find out from the agent what is the purpose of insurance. How the face amount was determined. That's the question you may want to ask to move forward. Now, there are some companies up to a certain face amount, subject to their own experience, their own mortality. They may follow certain rules like 80% or 90% of the face amount, meaning whatever the face amount being applied for versus what internally the home office underwriter feels that there is a justification up to 80 or 90% of the face amount, then they may say that this is a financial stretch, so we are okay to proceed as long as you do not suspect anti-selection, as long as you are convinced after looking at the overall financial profile of the person or the insured that this makes sense and okay to do so. When in doubt, you can always refer to your referral underwriter or your chief for a second opinion. Another aspect in financial underwriting that you may want to know, I know this is introductory session only, but something to keep in mind, that there is what we call estate tax exemption. So like in 2016, we are having 5.45 million per individual. That's the estate tax exemption. And in last year it was 5.43. So when you see any application for the estate tax planning purpose, these are the things that you may want to know and keep in mind. How we arrive at the net worth, how we project the net worth today versus the future value of the net worth. Every company, they use their own calculator to arrive at what could be the maximum insurance amount that they can have, what would be in the interim the projected return by way of interest or dividend, that is the money today versus money tomorrow or in the future. And after doing those calculations, every company follows the amount that the maximum that insured can have. From that amount they subtract what is the already enforced coverage to arrive at what is the final amount that they can offer. Now there can be times where you may have a different needs, and different needs may justify different and or additional coverage or a policy, but you cannot just rely on one aspect. You need to look at the total picture. And as we know, we did discuss in our first session that to underwrite means to coordinate. That's what underwriting is all about. So you need to look at all the aspects of the financial profile of the proposed insured. And while we do that, what are the things or what are the tools we need to look at? You may feel that you need phone inspection to get more details. Maybe there are medical reasons. Maybe because it is based on the age and face amount. Maybe it is for a cause. You want to convince yourself that there is a financial justification. So, in all of these scenarios, you may end up ordering financial phone inspection, and you may see the financial details that may be supported depending upon the age and face amount. There may be independent confirmation of finances, which means you may see the CPA verified audited financial statements of last 1 year, 2 year, and or the tax returns filed by the insured in last 1 or 2 years. Some companies, they use database verification, their own way to investigate and correlate all these details. There are experts available in the home office. They can help out the junior underwriters in this process. And some companies prefer, in some scenarios, to have customer fill out the confidential financial questionnaire, and that becomes part of the contract to make sure that how to connect all the dots. Does it make sense? Are we looking at documents being fabricated, or are those documents and the figures we are looking at are genuine, supported by all these different sources, either through phone inspection, either through CPA verified statements or tax returns, or our field partners out there, they try to explain to us what is their thought process, how the face amount was determined by way of cover letter, what is the big thing or the big picture that they have which we don't know. We know in home office only what we have in front of us, but there are times that they know beyond what we have in front of us. So detailed cover letter can help our field partners. If you are watching this, it may be a good idea to spend some time to provide the detailed cover letter to justify how you arrived at the particular face amount. Likewise, some companies, they rely on the credit check, credit report to correlate the financial profile of the individual. And as we covered in prior session, that there could be multiple reasons behind why one buys life insurance. So see to figure that out, that what is the ultimate purpose. Follow the money and ask yourself, do you have objectively convincing documented details in the file that justifies the financial coverage? There are many resources out there. Take for example internet. On internet you can check out lots of details from personal to financials, property related. For example, if you see on the network that insured owns certain properties, there are various websites. You can have a list of links that you can click to figure out what really is the case and the inside scope. So I may claim that I own XYZ property. Ask for those details, the property deeds or the ownership documents, or look at those websites, figure out the details. You can independently do your research to figure out that those are the genuine details that you are given, and that really helps you and your company to properly evaluate and come up with the appropriate financial risk assessment. one more thing before we conclude is the fact that as you have started life underwriting and you have been doing this, you will notice that there are times that there are multiple MIB or insurance activity index. So what may happen, the insured may notice that if he is going to apply at one company for a larger amount, he or she may be subject to lots of scrutiny, details, requirements, and to avoid that, he or she may be applying at multiple companies for a small face amounts. So pay close attention to MIB and insurance activity index and try to dig out those details, see what has been admitted about any act pending, in force, applied for, replacement, all those details, correlate. That will help. And there are times that when you feel comfortable, subject to the second review by your referral underwriter or chief, you may, depending upon the facts and circumstances of the case, as a last resort, may want to amend, like an endorsement or delivery requirement to make sure. And some companies are using what they call ultimate total line of coverage. So they make sure that once they issue the policy, it's not that they are over-insuring the insured. That's the idea. So there are lots of unique scenarios in financial underwriting, and what we will do, because as I said in the beginning, this is the simple version of financial underwriting. In the next session, we will start with complex version of financial underwriting. So with that, bye now. Hope you enjoyed and see you soon. Take care.